The prosecutors just leaked Melly took out Sakchaser and Juvy. It was announced. The prosecutors updated the evidence against Melly. He didn't know he was filmed admitting to the murder of Sakchaser and Juvy. We're only 5 hours after the murder was done, Melly was seen dancing in a parking lot with Bortlen.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
As they show no sadness for the passing of Sakchaser and Juvy. However, without his knowledge, he was being filmed once again 30 minutes before the murder. Melly's seen exiting the studio, sitting directly in the back left seat of the Jeep to get ready, then waiting for Sakchaser, Juvy, and Bortlen to get in.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes? All right.
The official court documents read, "The direction of the bullets, traveling from left to right in the car, supports the claim that the shots originated from the back left seat, where Melly was positioned. Even Juvy's mother confirmed he was there."
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
Prosecutors felt it was critical to share this evidence since Melly is nearing possible release. The media reported today, Melly's legal team is requesting to postpone his trial until 2026, citing concerns over his mental and physical health. He has endured conditions worse than death row for over 7 years. Many forget that Melly has spent the last 7 years behind bars without a conviction. Well-known attorney Bradford Cohen commented, "When I handled this case 7 years ago, I stated it needed to go to trial within 6 months. The state wasn't prepared. The investigation was a disaster. Witnesses were inconsistent, and speed was key to a win." But Melly wasn't able to get it done fast, which is what's left him waiting for a bond for over 2,000 days.
No, let me repeat myself. Mr. Devins has to make an informed decision about who he wants as lawyers to be. He's now been sitting in our jail for 2,159 days. So, how long would you like to be able to make that decision?
I can't determine when the investigation will be over. That's up to the Broward Sheriff's Office, but I can have them. As I said, I'm just asking for a week, and then I'm asking for at least a day or two.
You can decide by tomorrow. I've also reserved all of tomorrow.
The judge was surprised that Melly has been locked up for over 2,100 days without being convicted. The judge even said directly, "Give your reasons for keeping Melly locked up or I'm granting bond." Melly's mother later gave an update on his possible release.
We just still praying. I know I said I would I'll keep everybody updated with what's happening. I know right now we're waiting. So basically the judge is going to do, I guess, a written order. So we're just waiting, and that order can come any minute, or it could come tomorrow. I don't know. So we're just waiting. We're just waiting. So everybody just keep praying, keep having faith. Oh, Tessa, stop. I've been crying too. It's been a long time coming, you know.
As his legal team submitted a new bond package, you decide if it justifies his freedom. As it states, Melly's attorneys proposed an unspecified bond funded by his record label, 300 Entertainment. If approved, Melly would be placed under house arrest, fitted with an ankle monitor, and surrounded by 24/7 security. The proposal looked so promising that one rapper said, "That boy Melly coming home, I feel it." His mother also added that they have solid proof he's being treated terribly in jail, which is illegal.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
They then pointed to old trial evidence, arguing that the prosecutors claimed that Melly committed the crime inside the Jeep is false because GPS data shows Melly running down the street and hiding in a bush.
That would be the part where he's saying that someone just shut the car up and was trying to shoot him. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, yeah, there's some. I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sak and Juvy? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're...
They followed this by reinforcing the theory of a real drive-by shooting. In the original trial, it was confirmed that no firearm was ever located, which supports the idea that the firearm was owned by the vehicle who did the supposed drive-by.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what firearm was used.
Okay.
As Melly's chances of getting out improved, the prosecutors seemingly set a backup plan. The situation got so sketchy that some believe the Florida legal system is corrupt. Allegedly, deals were made with Bortlen and Melly's ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton. Mariah had been hiding outside the US since before Melly's original trial. She was scheduled to testify against him, but never showed, which made her wanted by police.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
Mariah made a deal with the judge that if she testifies in Melly's upcoming trial, she would be released, which is exactly what happened, as she wrote to Facebook. Thank you to my village. I love y'all so much. God's plan, not mine. Investigators uncovered disturbing material from her iCloud account suggesting Melly tried to stop her from testifying, which qualifies as witness tampering. That charge alone could land him in prison for life, even if he didn't take out Sakchaser and Juvy.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
The tampering charge is separate from the murder case, because Melly supposedly used jail phones to influence witnesses in his case, which had the jail revoke his phone privileges. His mom, Jamie King, even gave an interview calling out the jail for not letting him make calls or see his mail.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
But if it's true that Melly used the phones for witness tampering, then the prosecutors likely have the recordings, and that's why he's not allowed to use any communication. They must be saving this evidence for trial because they wouldn't go that far just on suspicion. But what could ruin Melly is what Bortlen might do. You may not know this, but Melly's lawyer already attempted to shift the blame to Bortlen during the first trial.
Those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
As he claimed, Bortlen misled investigators from the beginning. He's the one who had firearm residue on his hands and was with Sakchaser and Juvy when they passed. A forensic expert even provided further details on the residue found on Bortlen.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of residue and 2 two-component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of residue and 1 two-component particle.
Okay.
And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was gunshot residue present on the hands.
Bortlen wasn't happy about being thrown under the bus. That's likely why, on the same day Melly's mistrial was declared, a report said Bortlen tweeted a mysterious message. The tweet read, "Mind games don't work on people like me," followed by a handshake emoji, as if he accepted a deal. If Bortlen is tried alongside Melly, prosecutors can use his initial police interrogation from the night of the crime, where he's caught lying to protect Melly.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Man, I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home, you know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car.
Hey, well, actually,
and I almost crashed the car.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595 to
75.
Expressway. Yeah.
Then you took 75 south?
It quickly becomes obvious to detectives that Bortlen's story doesn't make sense. Despite trying to sound convincing, he gets caught in a lie.
Here's the hard part where we're having a hard time to understand, is that we shut down that entire area and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as one shell casing. They didn't find one piece of glass. Nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's the class.
I mean, for whatever reason, your two friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These my like,
these your two, I'm assuming close friends.
Yeah, we got.
And you're doing them an inservice by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't like. How? What do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. How can I tell you about a shell case?
Bortlen gets increasingly frustrated as the detectives stop believing him.
I told y'all the story, and that's it, bro. I don't even want to talk about it no more. Like, cause I told y'all. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Okay, just so you know, all right, because you're saying, well, I don't want to talk anymore. There's going to be a lot more questions. There's, and we're not trying to piss you off. The thing is, we don't know your friends.
Yeah.
So the reason we have to ask all these questions, because the more we know about your friends, your lifestyle, your friend's lifestyle, your friends, his friends, and the circumstances surrounding today, the more, the easier it's going to be for us to try and solve this.
When a suspect reaches that level of resistance during questioning, it's standard for police to restart the conversation. Their goal is to keep him talking long enough to either trip up on his story or accidentally reveal too much, as the officer begins asking about other things from the night.
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here from when you guys opened the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
With the clock ticking on their interrogation window, the officer asks, "If you know who did this, would you tell me?"
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS. Okay, and it's a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay, you may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I wouldn't want to be.
Bortlen doesn't say yes or no out loud. Instead, he shakes his head no. If Melly really was responsible, Bortlen would know that, which is why Bortlen kept silent, as he was worried about raising red flags to the police and how he answered.